Something came from Baltimore, Baltimore. Something came from Baltimore, Baltimore. Something came from Baltimore, Baltimore.
Welcome back to another edition of Something Came from Baltimore. I'm your host, Tom Gowker, and in this episode, we're talking about marijuana and the way people are incorporating it into their lifestyle. Times have changed. Maryland has dispensaries. It's legal in Washington, D.C., and it's a booming economy in Colorado. And in the future, it'll be legal in all states. We're talking to people who are involved with marijuana. We are learning about what is going on and how and when it will affect us in the future. Today on Something Came from Baltimore. Welcome to Something Came from Baltimore.
Welcome to what?
Something Came from Baltimore.
Oh, is that what you're... All right, cool. Thanks.
Well, it's good to
There's
have
some
you.
more editing for you to do.
Okay, we're not going to say your name because we're in a culture right now where we're not officially legal in the topic that we're talking about, but we're on our way. So really the conversation is about where we're at right now and how are we getting to the future. Just what is your current role right now and say in the drug trade?
Just a high-end purchaser. You know, we have about 5 or 6 friends. We buy stuff from all over the place.
Do you have like a clientele that you supply to?
No, it's more like friends. Just people I know.
I have no idea what things are costing. So we're just talking about marijuana right now. What would be when you buy in bulk? What are you buying, and what is the cost?
Buying right now from in California. I'm buying vaping products. And they roughly run about $20 for a quarter-gram cartridge.
Now, vaping is new, but if you weren't buying,
well, it's new here.
Yeah, I want to talk about vaping because I think it's pretty cool. But if you were just saying you're not buying the vaping product, the vaping didn't exist. If you were actually just buying, pot itself, for that same, is it the same amount of money, or is it different or higher, or lower?
It's a little bit higher because you're degrading your product a little bit. To anything you do to it's going to make it a little less strong, as it were. But you can just increase the percentage of THC in the tincture.
All right, so I want to compare you buying in bulk. You're like doing a Sam's Club buy and distributing to friends, and everyone's happy. But if you were going to buy that on the street, would you say that that's even higher or lower, or you're just not really sure as to what the quality would be?
Yeah, the quality is I've bought some locally. The quality is different here. It's touch or go because it's not controlled like it is, from the California stuff. If you wanted to buy it from the dispensaries that are now open, they run about $80, anywhere between $60 to $80.
Now, are you able to go directly to the dispenser, or do you have to go through someone who is at a dispenser and then buy from them?
I get a friend of mine in California just picks it up and at a dispensary there.
Okay. I want to get back to the vape thing because this is pretty cool to me. This is where I don't think people are aware of what the new technology is going to be in our future. But so people who smoke cigarettes obviously use vape, but there's also a mechanism very similar that uses marijuana. Could you explain what it looks like? And
it looks the same. It's just the color is different. The smell's a little different. Of course, the flavor is different. The wattage needs to be much lower. Otherwise, you just most of these are in temporary cartridges. Like you buy at the local gas station. They're not like the big vape pens that you get. That run 40, 50, 60 watts. That'll emit a huge cloud. That's not what you need to do with weed.
This is odorless, though, correct?
This is what?
It'll be odorless. It's a vape that will be marijuana, but
no, it's not odorless.
Oh, it does smell. This is something I didn't know. It seems to me that it's a new trend because, just in the place that I work at, you'll smell marijuana. You'll look around. Obviously, no one's smoking it. So it must be coming from a vape. And you're looking around as to, like, who is this? They're doing it in the hallway or, in and out of the complex. And it's impossible for someone to be lighting up like that. So it seems to me that the vape seems to be very popular in this area.
Yeah, I've seen lots of people using it. So, and it looks just like the same as anybody who's using a regular one. The smell isn't that of marijuana. It's more of like It is a little bit, if you know what to smell for, but it dissipates quicker.
Yeah.
You're not whatever you're smelling at work is not vape.
Oh, it's not?
Now, if it's outside, you're smelling weed, because that will travel, whereas, vaporize just dissipates almost immediately, so you can't smell it from 50 yards away or anything like that.
Well, that's good to know. All right, now I'm confused as to what people are doing.
Maybe you work near a spice factory.
Yeah, that's true. Maryland is on the border of D.C., and D.C. has dispensaries, and they are legal. Have you traveled into the D.C. world and explored what they have to offer?
Yeah, that's where you get the actual weed itself. If you want to smoke it, you go down there. You don't have to. It's all recreational now. So,
do you feel that it's cost effective? Do you feel like they're charging at a fair price?
Yeah, it's much cheaper than the dispensaries here.
Are they but different types of marijuana, or when it's legal like that, are they just?
Yeah, you can find anything.
Okay.
Pretty much.
That's good.
They have parties going on down there. They advertise them on like Craigslist or other different sites, and you just go to a location and there's a vendor set up, and it's technically a donate, and they'll give you a gift or something, but that's how they get around the law in DC. So
what are they going into people's houses, like Tupperware parties, and setting up a try-all kind of different types of weed?
Some of them are using businesses.
I heard that. I heard that there's actually some small hotels that have lodging in the on the weekends, and we'll have something similar to this.
Yeah, they have. There's one. I mean, there's several every day.
What does that impact say to the street drugs? If California is obviously it's recreational, DC's recreational, Maryland right now is not, but there's dispensaries, so that's for subscription only, correct?
Yeah, correct. It's once it goes like California or Colorado, it'd be best to have it then. The ones that have had a couple of years worth of total legalization. But I would assume that it would be, the street drug. They just don't really sell marijuana anymore, because you can't compete with a company, with a real grow house and then the supply and the demand. It's there's no way a dealer can buy a big batch and then split it up and sell it. He's just not going to make any money, so they'll likely switch to heroin.
So you're saying maybe heroin or Percocets. Any kind of pills that people might want?
That seems to be the new flavor in this local area, with all the overdoses we have.
So the street trade would just change. It would just change to, say, pills and heroin. Whereas it would be very difficult to go on the street and say, I'd like to buy some pot or large quantities, or do you have to set that up and say, hey, I know you, I'm gonna come over, I'm looking for this, and they'll have it available to me?
Yeah, I'm sure there'll still be some people that do it that way, but of course, if you're going to have to spend more because they're doing the traveling to pick it up for you, So, and they're also taking a cut off of it, so it's another step down the food chain that you're picking up the product from. So it's going to cost you a little more.
Something came from Baltimore.
What do you see the future in Maryland, say, in the next year?
A year, I'd say 2 years, where we're recreational legal. And with D.C. so close by, it really already is, as long as people know how to, you just travel to D.C., it's really not that far. And most of the parties are in the evening, so it's not like you have to deal with the rush hour traffic, we just head out around 5 or 6 o'clock, maybe 7 o'clock, and come back around 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Have you been to any of these parties?
What's that?
Have you been to any of these parties?
Yeah.
Are they fun?
Well, yeah, like a swap meet. It's kind of like a gun show, but instead,
What would be the quantity of people normally would show up for one of these?
Yeah, there's a lot of people there. 40 at a time.
What do you say marijuana and legalization within 10 years? What would you say it's going to look like?
Depends on how they structure the laws. If they structure the laws the same as D.C., then they're done for. It's just a free for all. Anybody can sell pretty much anything. So
what is D.C.'s structure?
As long as they're not selling it, they can give it away.
As long as
as
they're
a
not
gift.
selling it, they can give it away. So
Yeah, so basically, it's like they'll have like a sticker there or a T-shirt or something so like that, and you buy the T-shirt for $20, $40, whatever, and then they give you a gift for free of the weed. That's how they move around their laws, It's called a donation. kind of like the early days of prostitution, It's a donation.
what if they went into Subway? You get a sub, and then you also get some pie. I'm just thinking creatively.
What was the question?
I said, what if they had like a Subway, and you buy a sub, and then you get your pot along with it? Gift with purchase.
I think they're going to have to stay pretty low key for a while. It's not. I wouldn't put it in a Subway. I would say because then you're going to need the license and the governing, and you have to pay the fees and the taxes and stuff.
Do you feel that DC will end up changing their laws and the way that they are doing it, so it's more of a profit center for them, the city?
Probably, yeah. I mean, they need revenue big time. So, you've seen their streets. So you know what their streets are like.
Oh yeah. I mean, it would seem that should be a given. Why would you do this if you couldn't make a profit out of it? It doesn't seem like a capitalist kind of way.
Yeah, it might just be waiting for legislation. There could be legislation going. There's I'll give you a link to a guy that pretty much has all the news of the things coming out of D.C. all the time. So anyway, look up, he's called the Gentleman Toker in D.C. You should be able to find him fairly easy in a Google search. If not, I'll send you a link,
If this is legal, it should be more organized. I'm surprised that it's just this gift with purchase concept. It's a really bad idea, but if they have more laws coming, down the line, that's understandable. More guidance.
I think they're going to, right now, the supply and the demand in this area is, in legal Baltimore is, the supply is not there, so the prices are up to the roof, man, 3-4 times the price of what you can just go to DC and pick it up. So
do you know anyone that's using like Bitcoin to move product?
No, not at all. People cash. It's a cash market,
I keep on hearing that Bitcoin is going to crash, but to me, that's a perfect way of moving drugs. It's undetectable.
Yeah, but they still won't, California dealers, they still won't ship out here, now that with Colorado, they're not going to mess around with that because it turns it, you're taking a state law and you're running it through federal property, because it's got to get, and you have to take it through other states that don't have this law, so you're breaking major laws, you're trafficking. And no one is trying to sell this stuff legally wants to get busted with trafficking.
Thank you for listening to another edition of Something Came from Baltimore. Subscribe to our show on YouTube, make comments, and stay in touch with us. We have some cool things lined up for you this year.
Something came from Baltimore. Something came from Baltimore. Something came from Baltimore.